Hi everyone, Chris here. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing great. Today we're going to talk about in-play offers, what they are and how you complete them. They're an amazing style of offer and they come up really regularly in the football season. They're very simple to complete and are basically just normal match betting. With the calculator set into normal mode, you just back and you lay and then you repeat the process during the event itself, hence the in-play nature. So they're really simple to do, but there's just one or two things to note that will make your life easier when you're doing an in-play bet. So let me give you an example and talk you through it. So firstly, what is an in-play offer? It's exactly as the name suggests. It's an offer of a free bet from a bookmaker, but one that you have to use whilst the event is going on. They're really common in football, but you also get them in tennis and many of the other sports that bookmakers cover, and they can be really, really good value. The first thing to be aware of with an in-play bet is that because it is in play, the odds in the betting exchange can be moving, and that can mean that you have a bit more time pressure when it comes to actually calculating your match bet. The way I like to get around this is by waiting until a lull or pause occurs in the event, normally at half time if it's a football match, or for example in tennis, in between sets, or when people have a water break or something like that. Because at these times, there's not really any more variables happening that are likely to affect the outcome of the event, and therefore the odds tend to stop moving. So once you sort of plan in your schedule, like, yep, this is the event I'm going to do it on, and these are when I think the pauses are going to be, you'll know exactly when you have to be there to place the in-play bet. And a second big thing to note for these types of offers is that you're going to be placing the qualifying bet and an in-play bet at the same time essentially, because both of those are not going to settle until the end of the event. So potentially you're going to be floating a decent amount of cash in the exchange in terms of your liability. So what you want to do is make sure that your exchange is topped up, or you have the capacity to top the exchange up at half time in order to make sure that you can fully complete the in-play bet, because you won't get any funds back or profits back until the event is over. So with that being said, let's get into one now and let me give you an example. So this is an offer that we have here in the Profit Squirrel daily offers section from Bet365. It's a really good offer. You basically can bet up to £50 and they will match the amount that you bet pre-match, pre-event I should say, with an equivalent free bet. So this is on the England-Colombia match, which is tonight on the day that I'm filming this. And this offer is basically just saying place a bet before the event starts and we'll give you a free matched bet to whatever that amount is to use during it. One thing this offer does say is that it's actually invite only, which means that you need an email from Bet365 in order to be able to complete this. But normally that's just something that bookies say as a bit of a disclaimer, so that it doesn't involve new signups, like people that have just got the account. That's normally the case. Pretty much everyone that has a Bet365 account will have received this offer. So normally you don't really have to worry about that too much. But if it's there, just double check that you've got the email, and you should have. There's also a lot of in-play bets where you don't need any sort of invite, so you can go ahead and just do them regardless of whether you've got an email from the bookmaker or not. So the first step is to place the qualifying bet, which I must do pre-event. So this event starts Tuesday 7 p.m. and as long as I get my bet on with the bookmaker before that time, I'll be fine and I'll qualify for this offer. Always double check the eligible markets. In this case, there are no market restrictions or minimum odd restrictions as well, but that's something you always want to check for the qualifying bet and for the free bet as well, because some of them will say you have to use it on the first goal scorer market, or the match odds market or something like that. But this one is exceptionally good because there's no real restriction there as to what you can do. So the way I would go about matching this off is I would find the event on Bet365, which I've got up here, Colombia versus England. And then I would also have my simple calculator at the ready so that I can quickly work out the lay stake that I want. So I'm going to go and take this and put it on the left hand side of my screen, and then I'll have the bookmaker on the right hand side of my screen, just so I can quickly go between the two to make the calculation. Now I've also got open Betfair here with the event, and I've also got Smarkets as a comparison. Now if I can find the event on Smarkets, I'll go ahead and use them because of the lower commission. So I would prefer that, but also the other thing I'm looking out for in the in-play section of the bet is an arbitrage opportunity. You don't really see that pre-event very often where the back odds are higher than the lay odds, but you do sometimes see it in play, and that's a great thing to look out for. And if that's the case, if I spot that later on, then I'm not really going to mind which exchange I go for, because the arbitrage amount will outweigh any sort of commission amount I would have to pay. So actually, to make this even easier, let me bring Bet365 over to this side of the screen, and I have Betfair exchange on this side. And what I'm looking for here is something where the back odds are similar to the lay odds. I'm not using the odds matcher here because it's not very useful in this regard, because it has to be a bet that is placed on this event in order to qualify for the free bet. The in-play free bet. So really just scanning it by eye to see. So here we've got Colombia to win 4. They're offering 4.4 on here. That's not too bad. From experience, I know that we can probably do better, because, for example, say we're going for the £50 back stake. The odds they're offering at Bet365 are 4.4 on the exchange. It's quite a hefty qualifying loss there, £6. So what we're going to do is just kind of keep scanning through to see what we can find, if we can find something a bit closer. The England value for match odds is probably better, 2.15, who are 2.22 on Betfair and 2.24 on Smarkets. So there's plenty available on Betfair there. If we were looking at that, 2.15 and 2.22, that's a qualifying loss of 2.94, £2.94. So that's not too bad, considering we'd get a £50 bet out of this. If you want to, you could go ahead and match that off. I think that's a pretty good qualifying loss. But if you want to find something better, you can either continue to watch the odds and see if you can pick up something where they're closer together, or you can start looking into some of the other markets. I would look at something like this under over golds market, under over 2.5 or 3.5, because although you can go for correct score, the odds, as you can see there, are much higher, 7.8, 6.8. So if I'm making a match bet on odds like that, I'm going to be floating like £300 at least in the exchange. And I like to try and avoid that if I can with the qualifying bet, because it's not going to make that much difference to my profit overall. So let's have a quick look on the goals menu, just see if we can find something a little bit better there. So we've got over under 2.5, 1.56, 1.47. Not really that much better. Over is 2.6. Let's have a little quick scan here. I'm gonna 1.01 on the under 5.5 and 1.04. No, I think it's much better because the England lay market is holding at that sort of 2.2 odds level, and the market here for England to win is 2.15. So let's just check that again. £2.50 loss, pretty decent. I'd say I go ahead for that. Let's see what it is on Smarkets. 2.22. See if I'm better off there. Yeah, £2.11 loss. So what I'll probably do is go ahead and lay that on Smarkets to reduce the qualifying loss that I have. So this is the exact same principle that you'd normally do. Go ahead, copy your lay stake here. Make sure that you have a minimum balance of this liability here, and then go ahead, add this to your bet slip, place the amount of the bet that you want to place. In my case, it's going to be £50. Place it at the exchange as well, and you've locked in your in-play bet. You've qualified for that. When the event is actually in play, you'll see that in your bet slip available in Bet365, and you can go ahead and place that. So what you can see now is that I've gone ahead and I've placed the back bet with Bet365. Look out for this thing here on the screen where it confirms that I've qualified for the £50 free bet offer, so I can expect that in play. And as always, just confirm that everything has been matched successfully in your exchange account. So now it's just a case of waiting until half time to place the free bet. Okay, so here we are at half time. It's a natural break in the event. The odds are moving much more slowly here on the exchange. And what I'm going to do now is track down an appropriate thing to use my free in-play bet on. So let's have a quick scan on the match odds. We're sort of looking at 5.5, 2.25. Nothing too great there. Not bad odds on the draw actually. 2.25, 2.32. I'll check that on my calculator. See, I've got it set to free bet SNR. That's an important one. 2.25 on Bet365 and 2.32 here. I would make £26 off that bet. That's not too bad. Let's see what we've got on Smarkets if I refresh that. The draw 2.32, exactly the same. So not bad, not much better. What you can often find good in-play odds on are the correct score, or the next goal scorer, or in a market like this where at the moment it's 0-0 between Colombia and England, the first goal scorer. So what you want to be doing here is checking out a few more of the popular markets, seeing what you're happy with, seeing where they line up. You're going to make a profit anyway. It's just more about seeing what the best profit is that you can make. So I'll bring up the player market here as well on first goal scorer. I'm also going to open the drop down of the first goal scorer here. You can see this market's looking pretty thin on Betfair. There's a little bit here on Harry Kane, 4.1, 4.5 on the back odds. Really not much going on here actually, which is surprising. That's normally quite a decent market. I think what I'm going to go for probably is the draw here. So let's go back up to match odds. It's not looking much better on the England odds here, 2.3, 2.48. Better, I think, to go for this, the 2.32 and the 2.25. So I'm going to go ahead and just work out what that is, 2.25, 2.32, exactly what I had before. My lay stake is £27. So let's go ahead and place those quickly. First I back, use my free £50 bet, place bet, and then, those odds have just jumped to 2.34. So what I'm going to do is just calculate that. This does sometimes happen, but it doesn't happen so fast on the exchange, really. If it's in a break, such as half time. I'm just going to watch that for a minute, see if it changes back down. I watched the lay market on the draw for a few minutes now. It's not changing back down. So what I'm just going to do is recalculate my lay stake by putting the lay odds in here at 2.34, hit recalculate. So this is my new lay stake, which is very slightly different. I'm still happy with that profit there. So I'll go ahead, click to add that to my bet slip, right click, paste that in, and place and confirm my bets. So that's pretty decent, you know. What I've done, I've locked in almost £26 in this bet, taking off the £1 or so odd qualifying bet, and that's still quite a nice profit. And as you can see, it took me a few minutes to set this up at the beginning, just a few minutes now at half time. We've still got a good 10 minutes of half time left, so it's a really nice return on the time that you put into it. Just one thing to note is that the draw here, that means that the teams will be drawing after 90 minutes. It doesn't mean that there'll be a final result score of a draw, because this is actually a knockout match, so there can't be a draw at the end of the entire event. Someone has to be a winner, but just a little note to be aware of that. So that's it. That's the best way in order to do in-play matches. They come up pretty often, especially during the main football season, and you'll see quite a few of them at Wimbledon as well. They're really easy to do. All you have to do is just be a little bit familiar with what you're looking for. Use a little bit of backwards and forth, either by having the windows side by side, flicking between the screens on your phone, or some people have a couple of monitors up. They look at the bookmaker and at the exchange. Whatever works for you. You're just scanning to find exactly what is going to be a close match for you, and it's just as easy as that, really. I hope that's been helpful, and I hope you make some great in-play profits. Drop me a comment below with any queries or anything, and please like and subscribe to Profit Squirrel as well. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.